Impressive wide 4K 60 Hz touchscreen. Fantastic adjustable stand, built-in USB hub, 4K, not 5K, lower color density and less brightness than 27 inches. And the Alogic Clarity Max Touch is the first wide 32-inch touchscreen for Mac. It's a premium-looking 4K touchscreen display with built-in USB hub and a fantastic height, adjustable tilt, and a pivot stand. We prefer the brightness and color depth of the 27-inch Clarity Pro over the 32-inch Max, but that is a compromise you pay for the wider screen. A non-touch model is also available. One of our favorite third-party displays is the Alogic's Clarity, a great-looking premium 27-inch 4K monitor that can pivot from landscape to portrait orientations and boasts an excellent versatile stand and a back-mounted USB hub. Last year, Alogic announced Pro and touchscreen Clarity models with retractable webcam. And in 2024, there are 3 new versions, including the world's first 32-inch glossy display touchscreen for Interview's Lake Channel Mac, where the 27-inch Clarity Pro added an all-important webcam to the display, and the Clarity Pro Touch, a touchscreen display. The new 32-inch Clarity Max displays stretch wider. We particularly appreciate the touch model, where you can on-screen tap, swipe, slide, and pinch over a space 3 times larger than an iPad. And the main difference between the 27-inch and 32-inch Clarity displays is the new wider screen. Now, while not greatly taller than the 27 inches, the 32-inch display is appreciatively wider. We are our Alogic Clarity Pro Touch 27-in monitor review and Clarity 27-in monitor review. And physically, the Clarity Max monitor without stand measures 16.9 inches tall with 15.8 inches of vertical screen, wide with 27 centimeters actual screen width. This compares to the 27-inch models that measure 14.8 inches tall with 13.2 inches of vertical screen, 50.6 actual screen width. And maximum screen resolution, however, remains at 3,840 to Maya's 21,160 pixels at 60 Hertz and 21,160 by 3,000 portrait. The monitor case is made from plastic rather than the metal that you get with an Apple branded display, although at a fraction of the price, but it doesn't look cheap, and the aluminum stand fits the Apple aesthetic even when compared to Apple's own expensive monitor stands. Unlike with the static Apple display, you can easily adjust the height of the Clarity monitors. With the stand height, adjustable up to 150 mm. The screen can also fit 100 millimeter VSA monitor arms, and a special folding stand also made by Alogic. The screen itself can swivel above and tilt on below and rotate in portrait and landscape orientations. Screen setup from the box is super easy, and the display snaps simply into the stand. The most important consideration when buying a display is the picture quality. And as with the other Clarity models, the Alogic Clarity Max and Max Touch offer a 4K 3,840 by 2,160 pixel screen capable of displaying 16 million colors at a 60 Hertz refresh rate. As those pixels are spread across the wider screen, pixel density is reduced. As such, the display quality isn't quite as great as on the 27-inch models. The Clarity Pro is noticeably brighter than the Max 350 nits, 400 nits, and this drop in brightness from Clarity Pro to Max is due to a different scaler being used. And then there's really something that sends around, and there's a 16 million people using it that tell us that uses us discovered very. I had to play around with the settings quite a bit to get to a color on the Max Touch close to that of the Clarity Pro. I changed to the movie mode in the on-screen controls contextual model settings, which maxes the brightness and increases the contrast, shadow balance,
and saturation until the colors look more intense.
Apple's own monitors offer 5K or 6K resolutions, but at a cost. The 5K Apple Studio Display, 5,120 by 2,880 resolution, with equivalent stand costs a third more than the top-end Clarity Max Touch, and lacks the touchscreen functionality. While offering a superior resolution and color density, the Studio Display is 2.5 times the price of the entry-level Clarity. Read our Apple Studio Display review. Apple Studio Display 14.7 million pixels, and Alogic Clarity 8.3 million pixels. An Apple Studio Display can go significantly brighter, but Alogic's display supports HDR 600 content, which means that the whites of the display are very bright and clear, and the blacks much deeper, giving the same effect as 600 nits. The 27-inch Apple Studio Display connectivity hub has one upstream 96-watt PD Thunderbolt 3 port to connect to the computer and three 10 gigabit per second USB-C ports for connecting peripherals and in-storage devices. And in comparison, the 32-inch Clarity Max can power a connected laptop at 65 watts, enough for a 14-inch MacBook, but larger laptops would work better with a higher power source, so that you may want to stick with the MagSafe power connector and USB-C charger. Read our roundup of the best MacBook chargers. Here's all the Clarity and Studio Display models with pricing in USD. 27-inch 5K Apple Studio Display with webcam, $1,599. 27-inch 5K Apple Studio Display, height adjustable with webcam, $1,599. 27-inch 4K Alogic Clarity, $799. 27-inch 4K Alogic Clarity Pro with webcam, $999. 27-inch 4K Alogic Clarity Pro Touch with webcam and touchscreen, $1,199. 32-inch 4K Alogic Clarity Max, $999. 32-inch 4K Alogic Clarity Max Pro with webcam, $1,199. 32-inch 4K Alogic Clarity Max Touch with webcam and touchscreen, $1,399. And while the Studio Display offers a higher-end screen, the Alogic Clarity screens will be bright and impressive enough for most users. If 4K is good enough for you, you get a lot of screen for your money with the Clarity range, and especially the new 32-inch Max models. For a brighter, much richer screen, you will need to spend a lot more cash on the Apple monitor. The most obvious advantage the Clarity Max Touch has over the Apple Studio Display and other premium screens is its precision. 10-point multi-touch, one-glass solution touchscreen. We are all experts on the touchscreen, which we know from our iPhones and iPads, but few Mac users are used to interacting with our computers via a touchscreen, which is more common with Windows PCs. On read scale, but why there isn't a touchscreen Mac, but should be. Computer touchscreens have real benefits, especially for professionals such as creatives and scientists. Popular creative programs such as Adobe Photoshop and Illustrator, SketchUp, ZBrush, Autodesk Maya, Blender, and Inkscape, and allows for example, allow for freehand input such as drawing or sculpting. Alogic has an optional accessory, the 199 Clarity Fold stand, to better facilitate comfortable drawing or interacting on screen. The articulating stand securely holds the monitor raised at an angle like this large drafting board. It can rotate 360 degrees so that you can share work with colleagues. And as with the 27-inch Clarity Pro Touch, it's a more intuitive way to fine-tune levels and effects in photo editing or music mixing in applications such as Adobe Lightroom and Audition and Apple Pro Logic, but with a wider screen. Getting hands-on or stylus on with the screen in front of you encourages spontaneity and experimentation. Non-creatives shouldn't ignore the benefits either. It's fun to move folders around, open tabs, and double and triple tap text with a finger. Suddenly, the desktop mouse seems rather old-fashioned. Alogic's use of one-glass solution technology that combines the monitor's protective layer with its input layer via a conductive medium keeps the Clarity Max Touch's screen as thin as the other Clarity monitors while maintaining the monitor's bright picture. This is a major advantage over lower-cost capacitive touchscreen monitors that often appear darker because of the extra layer of glass required by a touchscreen. As well as fingers, the Clarity Pro Touch supports capacitive styluses on Windows, Mac OS, and Chrome OS, as well as Microsoft Pen Protocol compatible active styluses on Windows. Alogic sells its own active surface stylus pen for $49.99, 49 pounds, which is very simple, and other base and along the time. And while it's a quality touchscreen, the Clarity Pro Touch doesn't support pressure-sensitive touch. And setting up the touchscreen is not as straightforward as you might hope, but you should have to do it only once, and it's down to the lack of touch functionality built into the Mac OS, which offers less support for touch functionality than Windows. As a result, Alogic requires Clarity Touch users to download drivers and a UPDD configuration and app to provide more functionality on Mac. Getting it to a stage where you can move folders, switch between tabs, close windows, and so on is simple. And however, to get full pinch and zoom touchscreen, you need to download special drivers and a text file you'll meet in the setup. Handily, Alogic includes a QR scan code in the user manual, so you can quickly get to Clarity touchscreen drivers. The drivers can also be found on the Clarity Max Touch product page. The downloaded UPVE Commander app lets you customize a long list of touch gestures involving 1, 2, 3, or 5 fingers with taps, presses, drags, and swipes. A one-finger may tap substitute for a mouse click. A two-finger tap can be set as a double click. I've always hated computer display on screen controls that are mostly hidden under the bottom of the screen, where you have to feel to find the dear invisible button and then try to work out how to navigate through the on-screen controls with the other identical buttons. Alogic hasn't made this any easier on the Clarity range, with the near invisible buttons tucked away underneath, so you have to search them out like you're reading Braille. But a real advantage of the touchscreen models is the ability to simply swipe the on-screen controls into vision and then manipulate by touch. This feature could be worth and to upgrade to touchscreen on its own. Some Clarity models lack a webcam. You can add your own separate webcam to dangle from the top of the monitor, which would give you more flexibility and choice than having a fixed in-screen cam.
See our list of the best Mac webcams.
I was going to push people and post it up. The fill-in was for, and they also noticed that the Clarity Pro and Pro Touch earned their Pro title with the addition of a webcam, and you'll find the Pro, although not the entry-level 32-inch Clarity Max. A clever webcam automatically raises itself from within the monitor when an app such as FaceTime, Zoom, Google Meet, Slack, or Teams requires it, and then auto-retracts when it's no longer needed. This keeps the straight-line looks of the monitor when not in use, and also gives you privacy protection, as it ensures that the camera has no chance of spying on you if malware has somehow got into your system. And it's an 8-megapixel webcam that offers a decent quality image, and audio is fine too. The Apple Studio display features a fixed 12-megapixel webcam, and while it's clever, the retractable webcam feels flimsy. And the adjusting scroll wheel at the back doesn't give a lot of camera maneuverability, although certainly more than you get with the Apple Studio display, static camera, and lack of any adjustability to the monitor. With the Clarity Max Pro and Max Touch, you will mainly use the monitor's own SuperSend center solid screen. And Alogic's Clarity displays features two 5W speakers. While it's okay for video calls and superior to the Mac Mini's lousy built-in speaker, you wouldn't want to listen to Dark Side of the Moon on them. You are better off with a separate quality speaker. The built-in 3.5mm audio jack can be used to connect external speakers. To have full use of the touchscreen and webcam, you must connect your Mac to the monitor via either the USB-C or USB-B port at the back of the first side of the monitor. All Alogic Clarity monitors boast the back-mounted hub that includes a USB-C upstream port that supports top-end DisplayPort 1.4, plus an upstream USB-B port and two USB-A downstream ports, as well as a DisplayPort 1.4 and two top-end HDMI 2.1 ports and a 3.5mm audio port. You connect from your Mac to the screen for extended or mirrored display modes via either the USB-C DisplayPort 1.4 or one of the HDMI 2.1 ports, but connecting via the video ports will not allow for the webcam or touchscreen to work. As such, the extra video ports at the back of the monitor are rather redundant if you want to have full control of all the features, as you can't daisy chain the video ports. And using USB-C or USB-B, it can connect to your computer for not just the display, but also charge a laptop at up to 65 watts at the same time. The original Clarity monitor offered 90-watt charging for the laptop, but the Pro Max and Pro Max Touch require around 25 watts for the webcam. And at the same time, Alogic reduced the power supply from 180 watts to just 150 watts, meaning laptop charging is limited to 65 watts. The bonus of charging your laptop from the monitor means you don't need a separate power supply for your laptop. You can just connect with one cable to get an external display and keep even a medium-sized 14-inch laptop fully charged. If the computer is connected to the USB-C port on the display, the USB-A ports will operate at a rather lame USB 2.0 speed because the video traffic is making the same really musky, and it's making the same thing. And here's stat that the JBAS May is attention of C and attention. This is where the USB-C cable with the USB-C ports, USB spatial and high-speed data, for most peripherals, keyboards, mic, for example, but not for storage devices such as external hard drives and USB flash drives. Back 956, this is where the USB-B connection comes into its own. If the computer is connected to the display's USB-B port, the USB-A port's speed, this makes the USB-B connection the most sensible. And both USB-C and USB-B connections are acceptable for touchscreen use. And to connect your Mac to the display via USB-B, you'll need an extra USB-C to USB-B cable, which strangely isn't included. The Clarity monitors come with three cables: USB-C to USB-C, HDMI to HDMI, and, curiously, USB-A to USB-B. Despite the multiple display connections, you cannot daisy chain other displays to the Clarity's hub, so the two HDMI ports are rather redundant. For a quality 32-inch display, Alogic's entry-level Clarity Max is competitively priced at $999.99 or $99.99. Adding a retractable webcam, the Clarity Max Pro costs £1,199, $1,100 with touchscreen. The Clarity Max Touch is priced at £1,399. For a large widescreen 4K touchscreen display, this is attractively priced. And there's a Clarity, have been a Alogic Clarity Max 32-inch UHD 4K monitor, US dollars, of not $999 and not $99.90. Alogic Clarity Max Pro 32-inch UHD 4K monitor with smart webcam has 1,199.99.99. Again, Alogic Clarity Max. I mean, compare those prices to Apple's 1,599 pounds, which means I'm more than $10 million, along with smaller 27-inch studio display.
And has a 5K screen, but an adjustable stand or touchscreen.
The Clarity Fold stand costs an extra $199 if you want to securely hold your monitor raised at an angle like a drafting board or almost flat against the table and to suit your creative style. Read our full roundup of the best monitors for Mac and figure out our touchscreen. In this sense, the Alogic Clarity Max Touch adds wide 32-inch touchscreen functionality for Mac. While you may not think you need a touchscreen, you'll find yourself quickly getting used to swiping and dragging with your finger. It's a premium-looking 32-inch 4K touchscreen display with built-in USB hub and a fantastic height-adjustable tilt and pivot stand. Artists and video pros will appreciate its now wider touchscreen. We prefer the brightness and color depth of the 27-inch Clarity Pro over the 32-inch Max, but that is a compromise. You pay for the wider screen.